god. Oh. Oh. Welcome to Saturday Chill Stream. Sorry about the yawn. Ah. Hmm. Get my little list together here. Wait. Where's my watch later? Play it. Wait a minute. Come on. Load faster. There we go. Watch later. That's what I wanted. Hmm. Let's see. Hmm. I say way too much like stuff that needs to be watched on the oh, excuse me, off the Spooky Sunday. Hmm. Yeah, sure, why not? Oh, excuse me. Looking for something that's not all creepy. That's for tomorrow. Hmm. Way too many videos that are like hours long. Hmm. Come on, I need some just interesting stuff. Interesting, cool, funny, something like that. Yeah, I have a lot of creepy stuff. Oh, sorry if I'm being kind of quiet. I'm trying to make out a list here that we can watch. Yes, yeah, I should have did this before, but I was busy. Had a lot of other stuff I needed to take care of with Legion. Yeah, we'll go ahead and start it off. Let's go ahead and get to it. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that's exactly where I needed it to be. Alright. Hang on. Alright. Here we go. Good old Microwave Society. If the video.
Hi.
Welcome, Loretta.
It's crappy design.
Crappy design.
This, which is designed to fail.
Incorrect
Oh,
way
God.
up. Place this product this way up will result in damage. Which way?
If you're reading that,
Oh no, why? Why are we buffering?
you probably have it the wrong way up. I think that's the implication here.
Just put an arrow on it. Ooh, the inch sync.
Sink.
Yay.
What in the world?
That's
kind of a
awesome. Ew.
That's supposed to
Break
be a
your arm
sink?
to do that crap? Like what?
That hurts to try to do it that way.
I love the idea of brushing your teeth on this sink and then you spit and then it washes it straight onto the floor where your spit
Ew.
belongs.
That's true. Then you can kick it away, never to be seen again.
Yeah, it's just like we kick an ice cube under the fridge.
Same deal.
I do that in my house with a carpeted kitchen. That way the carpet's really nice and fresh.
What? Are you serious? Did you put carpet in your kitchen? Because that's an
I
option.
like when my carpet smells like backwash.
Dry mouth
Ew.
relief hand sanitizer. Which one? Which one do I trust?
Ooh. Oraleave, powered by BioGuard. How many brands are on this
Wait,
hand
why is it
sanitizer,
hand
too?
sanitizer and oral mouthwash?
Judah, don't
What?
come back to that. 2 brands.
Magic fart.
Tattoo and permanent makeup.
Oh, magic of art.
No, magic fart.
It's
Magic fart.
Even if you say magic of fart, it still sounds like you're saying magical fart.
I would not
Yeah.
trust this company to put makeup on me permanently if this is what their
No,
sign
OBS
looks
don't
like.
do this to me.
Titanic.
Tit- Oh. Watermark being right on his face.
That's awesome. We didn't want to see that, man.
Why is there two of them though? That's so dumb.
It's one of those green screen like museum things where you're like, oh, guy, we're gonna take your picture and it's gonna look like you're somewhere else, and then it never does.
We couldn't have put it on the upper right-hand corner.
More importantly, you couldn't have made the green screen the part of the boat that he's standing on.
No! You got to see the Titanic in the background. That way you know it's the Titanic.
Oh man, I never would have guessed with the word Titanic on there twice, once blocking my entire head.
See, that's the other Titanic in the background, the Titanic. People don't talk about Titanic because it didn't sink.
A Titanic.
Y'all.
It's the Florence, y'all.
Tadpole.
Tadpole. What is this?
Also, Xylophone has a giant 6 on top of it. What's happening?
Xylophone.
Xylophone.
That is an X cutout for zebra. I want to see the rest of it, but they only posted one picture.
Super Jakoska. Naturalny smack. Super Eroda.
Super Eroda. Peanut Chut.
Peanut chut. Peanut chut.
So it's a gardening nutrient mix. It's not ketchup.
I don't know. I wasn't super worried about it.
It's ketchup if you believe.
Anything's ketchup if you're brave enough.
A unique allure of Nanyang Crossroads.
Kuala Lumpur.
That's the capital of Kuala Lumpur. Oh my God.
Oh, God. Put a background on it, please.
3 to 8 p.m. Okay.
What does this mean?
It means you can go straight or... Okay.
Kind of you can go right, and then this one is right turn only.
From 3 to 8 p.m.
So from 3 to 8 p.m. you can turn right from the
That's
straight lane.
all that's supposed to mean, but that's just okay.
Please excuse the mess are being made, memories.
Please excuse.
The memories mess are being made.
Please excuse the memories are mess being made.
Yes. Yes. If only you made it 3. If only you made it 4. We can expand this to 5. There's a lot of shapes of urinals that would be so cool. Octagonal urinals.
And then you put a podcast microphone in the middle up here.
Yes, and a bunch of freaking white dude comedians can freaking gather and piss. It's awesome.
Whoa. 98765432321E TP ZAM -1 open close.
Oh no, it's the ZAM and the TP and the -1.
It's Austrian, not Australian.
No, I like to think this is Australian.
What? Wait, 1, 2, 3, 3,
4.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
What is 3 and what is the void?
There's also 2 -1s. Buckle.
Block.
Where are we?
Canby Street? I don't know where that is.
We're at a corner where modern living meets historic charm.
That's true.
I can't wait for rent to be like $20,000 a month because it looks somewhat nice. Stop ever learning. Give up a break your limits. Shutterstock 26349763007.
Wait, or it's stop ever learning give up.
Break your limits.
Oh, there's an N in the background.
Yeah, so it's stop learning, never, ever stop, never give up.
Sure. What should the man in blue do?
Obviously the first one, so we can kill everybody.
This isn't crappy design. That's great. That's
The
perfect.
train crossing a 7-lane highway.
Where?
What? Right there.
What tracks are there? Why are there no?
Oh, yeah, I know where the train is. Where's the track?
That's a great question.
I was aware of the locomotive approaching me.
What's happening?
Is this video just like too low res to show the tracks? But like that doesn't make sense because there's no like, you know, lines or differences here.
I have a feeling something went vastly wrong here.
Oh no. All I saw was
Poopied, poopied, poop, 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 pedo, pedo,
What's the
pedo.
same-
Pedo.
Oh no, what?
Prince
Oh, I've
biggest
seen
Murdered
that
by my daughter. 9/11 mass murder in the.
The titles are mixed up.
Do you want your chips without chips?
personally, I like my chips with chips.
So it's more expensive if you get chips with chips. Is that like a double order?
Hey, would you like a Cornish pasty? What about a steak and kidney pie?
I hate the churn chicken burger, by the way. I know it's like normal in other countries. I hate
Chicken
it.
burger.
Chicken burger.
Chicken sandwich. Also, how would it be a chicken burger if it's not in a bun?
No! Wait, is that the second plane about to hit? Is that the picture they chose?
Yes. Look, it's a significant thing that happened in New York since 1998. New York style pizza. The way this Samsung billboard dominates the skyline. Look, that's just like a freaking portal to another dimension in the middle of your city.
Getting dark, I couldn't tell because I was blind. I like how he gave us a demonstration of him getting his eyes gouged out.
I respect because this is an argument he had with somebody.
Yeah, and if you try to drink out this side, it's gonna like poke your cheeks.
You have a little narrow gap to get through.
She's turning into a fish roll.
Wait a minute.
She's turning into a fish roll.
Pretty sure that's a towel, but yeah.
This is a fish roll.
That is a towel.
Either way, it's disgusting.
Wait, you don't like a woman and some hands turning into a towel?
I love the inexplicable hands coming from nowhere. Yummy.
That ain't even carpet. That's just grass.
It's gonna be some kind of nature when mold starts growing out of it.
Grip the carpet with your toes.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, you're always dry.
Yum, yum, yum.
Loading screens? Oh no, microwave. Stop. It's a microwave. Just button done.
The lag.
I'm getting angry right now.
Lagging. Oh,
This will be really intuitive. It's all at your fingertips. We watched Iron Man in 2008 and we were like, everything needs annoying menus and buttons.
Hey, we have some leftover shower doors. What do you want us to do with them? We can save some money buying bathroom stalls. We can just use the leftover shower doors.
You can make blurry eye contact with whoever's pooping.
I'm so glad Kroger got rid of those.
That way you have to open it to see what's in there.
Every time me and Jude would go to Kroger to grab a drink before the gym, we'd be like, man, it sure would be nice if I could see what's behind this door.
My favorite part about these is every single time without fail, when I've opened one of these, it's been just a completely different selection of products behind it.
Yeah, it's either completely different or it's empty, and you're just like, what?
They're bright and we can show ads and like, you know, maybe it's a little bit easier to see or whatever. But
Yeah, okay. Do you know what else you can you can do to show ads? Tape a poster on the glass. At least I can still see through it.
so stupid. I don't get it.
And I've loudly complained about it while corporate was standing there multiple times, and I'd like to think I am the reason they're gone.
That was the amazing subreddit. Crappy design. I had to remember what we were on for a second.
A great time and a great opportunity. Praise the Lord. Go watch all our other 412 Reddit videos.
Heck yeah.
Have a day.
If there's a live-action superhero universe that loved pissing fans off by taking beloved comic characters and tossing something completely unrecognizable on...
I still can't believe they used that Twin Towers picture in that ad. Oh my god, that's the worst one. Damn, my shit's kind of lagging behind a bit, ain't it? Oh well.
onto the screen, it was 20th Century Fox's X-Men universe.
Yep.
And after doing the rankings, counting down the top 20 worst adapted heroes and villains from the comic book source material into those live-action movies and seeing some of the worst adaptations we've ever covered, I realized something. It really should have been top 25, if not 30. A lot of people were asking where this or that character were when they were only a few slots higher than the 20 I covered, and were pretty damn close to being just as unrecognizable or disrespected as all of those below them. So let's amend that with a sister video, counting down the characters just above those lists, starting with the heroes, to see how much better are they even than the 20 below them. Are they going to be fairly decent adaptations by comparison, or are they pretty much all tied with the top spot on that ranking? As always, I've used the 3C system to rate and rank all heroes. I'll assume you already know all about them if you watched the previous X-Men videos. But for those of you who didn't yet, I'll channel my inner Quicksilver to cover them very, very quickly. Those 3 C's are costume, character, and continuity. Costume rates a character's outfit or costume, their overall look, and their superficial physical characteristics. Character rates their personality, relationships with others, and their powers or abilities. Continuity rates their origin story, their iconic moments, and their overall place in the world, universe, or timeline. So, starting with the hero adapted from the comics
Everybody
into the
got
movies,
that?
who ranks as the 23rd worst adapted of all of them. Yeah, I know I said 5. It'll all make sense at the bottom of this list. We have Multiple Man. In the movies, Multiple Man appears in X-Men 3 as a guy with multiple powers. He's freed from a prisoner transport by Magneto, and then later when they realize that they wrote in a guy who can make multiples of himself into a movie with a climax involving an army of mutants attacking a small island, and that having a multiple guy in that climax would make things nearly impossible for our small band of heroes to deal with, they decided that the best use of that power was to have him pretend to be a whole camp of mutants to trick infrared sensors and then willingly get captured by soldiers armed with weapons that can fire the cure and completely remove his abilities. No idea why he agreed to do that, but
Right.
that's about his entire
Oh,
role.
hey,
in the film.
Elweeb.
We also know that he can be in different places at once while multiplying and doesn't need to keep them all contained in one area. Because
I mean,
it's
that
stated
was
early in
kind
the
of
film
an
that he was
ingenious
arrested for
plan to
robbing
trick
multiple
them,
banks at the
but
same time.
also,
So I have
like,
no idea why he couldn't have
they're
left
just gonna
50
cure
multiples
him.
here and still have gone to the island. But you know what? The movie didn't think about it. Why am I?
X-Men: The Last Stand.
We get
Yeah,
no
I think the
badass
best
fight
thing
involving
about-
duplicates, no insight into his character.
I think the best thing about X-Men: The Last Stand was Kelsey Grammer as the Beast. He was awesome as Beast. I think that was really the best part of that movie.
Or why he'd willingly break out of prison just to be
Kelsey
arrested
Grammer,
again,
oh
specifically
my
in
God,
one
I
of the
was
worst
geeking
times to be
out
arrested
when I
as a
found
mutant,
out
and
he
really
was
no
Beast.
scene whatsoever that
He
benefits
was
from
perfect
even
as
having a
Beast.
guy with multiplying powers in the movie. So I have no idea why he made it in here, honestly.
Yes.
In the comics,
Yeah,
Jamie
I'm glad you
Madrox
agree.
is quite different in the movie. First off, in the comics, he is a character. Like, a whole character who's pretty
That's easy
goddamn
for you to
popular
say,
for
my
more than
dear.
just his
You don't
frickin'
shit
multiple
on the
powers.
furniture.
And the green shirt, which is about all the movies harvested up from him. In the comics, Multiple Man had the ability to create duplicates of himself through kinetic impact with his body, while in the movies he seems to just be able to have them pop in and out as he wishes. He could not control when this would occur, so to limit the number of duplicates he'd create, he wore a special suit to dampen the physical impacts so he wouldn't just create duplicates accidentally. After this suit malfunctioned, it affected his mind, so he traveled to New York looking for help, where he came into conflict with the Fantastic Four. So, while he was initially kinda portrayed as a one-issue villain, it was for like 2 seconds before the team realized what was going on, and Professor Xavier arrived to help Madrox. Meanwhile, in the movies, he's just a straight-up bank robber. Not
Yeah.
wanting to join the X-Men, he spent time instead on Moore
Said he
Island,
was
helping Moira
robbing
McTaggart with her
multiple
research
banks
and
at the same
eventually
time.
met Siren. Each of Madrox's duplicates are completely independent of him, with their own separate self-awareness and even differing personalities.
That's actually
Though,
kinda-
when the dupes merge back into him, he gains all of their
Cool, I
memories
guess.
and new knowledge. This can make things
Whoa.
complicated for him, as sometimes his duplicates will form relationships, as one did with Siren, or on rare occasions even go rogue and work against him, as one did with Mr. Sinister for a time. Or he completely loses track of duplicates who go off to live whole lives all on their own. Though, for the most part, they usually work in relative tandem with him. While in the movie, the duplicates seem like just your standard, no-personality duplicates, making him like a million friggin' duplicating characters out there, and not like the specific one. Eventually, Multiple Man joins the mutant team X Factor,
would
and
actually
after
be-
years of trying to
that
find
actually
his place
sounds
in the
really
world, he
interesting.
restructures the group into a private investigation
If all
firm
of his
that helps
duplicates
mutants
can
alongside
actually
his
be
close allies
independent
like Siren and
beings
Strong Guy,
and
sometimes
live their own
working with and
lives.
sometimes having strong disagreements with other mutant groups like the X-Men. While in the movies, he has no friends, and he straight up joins Magneto's Brotherhood just because, he seems kind of bored. And while the comic version is usually fiercely independent and prefers to do things his own way, not wanting to work under the X-Men, and even fighting against those who tell him and others what to do. As said before, the movie version was happy to just let himself get arrested so the Brotherhood could attack the mutant cure. So, he kind of looks like Multiple Man, which is more than you can say about a lot of the characters
Yeah.
beneath him. But
He
due to
basically
his
looks
doing
like him.
nothing in the plot and acting nothing like the comic version, I really have no idea why he's here, except, I don't know, maybe you thought
As a
it
Cyclops
would be a
fan, I
cool
hated
scene
the
in the
last thing.
trailer.
Oh, yeah, he
and
immediately
they had the
gets
gall to tell
obliterated.
us that they were planning a friggin' spin-off movie where he wouldn't even be by the same actor anyways, but was going to be replaced by frickin' James Franco. That's one of the last people I would want having goddamn multiple powers after what's come out about him. Anyway, next down to 22nd
Hey, I like
with
James Franco.
Angel Salvador. Like Multiple Man, Angel Salvador was a character that the a-holes making these things saw when paging through random mutants, thought she had a cool-looking power, and tossed her into a movie without any further research or care
Oh,
whatsoever.
shit.
In the comics, Angel was a new student who joined the Xavier Institute during
Are we back? I'm really sorry. My hand accidentally hit the stop streaming button on my OBS. I'm so sorry about that.
the new X-Men era. She came from a broken and low-income home where she was overtly abused in many ways by her cruel stepfather. When her mutation began manifesting as a strong stench and hives all along her back, he treated her even worse than before, and she fought back and was driven from her home. Soon after, she created a cocoon and emerged with insect-like wings.
Whoa.
After emerging, she was tracked down and found by the U-Men, a group that harvests the mutated body parts of mutants from them to attach them to themselves to gain their powers.
Oh my God.
Honestly, the U-Men and 20th Century Fox actually have a lot in common, since Fox usually just sees mutants for their powers, then harvests that off of them and leaves everything else dead and rotting behind.
Yeah.
The X-Men save her, and she's brought back to learn at the Xavier Institute. Though due to her incredibly difficult life, she is socially maladjusted and stunted, and is put into a special class alongside other mutants whose disabilities due to their powers or their difficult antisocial personalities cause them to need special care. Though she initially hates herself for her mutations, causing her to lash out, she eventually forms bonds with her classmates, specifically Beak, and begins to learn to accept herself both as a mutant and as a
Beak.
person. In the movie, they decided to turn all of that into her being a stripper who Xavier and Magneto hire for a private dance. Then, while awkwardly sitting in a bed together, they show her their powers and she shows off her pretty insect wings. She's recruited into their burgeoning X-Men, but leaves with Sebastian Shaw before they even have their first mission. While in the movie, Angel is just a pretty girl with pretty bug wings, in the comics, her powers are portrayed as being quite absolutely disgusting. The movie version portrays her as able to somehow keep her wings hidden as a weird butterfly tattoo on her back, letting her just blend in with humans and saving them the budget of having to, I don't know, have her wear a friggin' harness. While the comic
Yeah.
version just constantly has fly wings jutting out of her back. The comic version also produces digestive acid that she can expel from her mouth as acidic green vomit, able to
Whoa.
burn through pretty much anything, like a fly does. And due to changes in her digestive system, she must secrete this acid onto her food ahead of time before eating it in order to swallow and digest it afterwards. In the movie, they turn this into just little yellow projectiles she can shoot out of her mouth like bullets and that can explode and create flame. In the comics, she is impregnated by Beak, and when she gives birth, it is to several larval
What?
sacs of eggs that gestate and hatch within only a
Beak
few
got it
days that
on?
she attaches to the ceiling by secreting
right,
an
Beak.
adhesive from her body onto them. Basically, in the comics, like Beak and her other classmates, she represents those mutants who don't get the sexy, relatively clean powers of Cyclops or Jean Grey. In the movies, they said, ew, and just turned her into an excuse to have a hot chick show off her back all the time. And while she exists in the modern day in comics, in the movies she's chosen, for some reason, as one of the characters to introduce way back in the 60s as one of the original X-Men. And alert, major spoilers for New X-Men Incoming, which is a comic worth reading. It's revealed that the teacher of that special class, Zorn, is actually a disguised Magneto who's been teaching the kids anti-human mutant supremacist propaganda and ideology. And both Angel and Beak are swept up in his plans before they both rebel against him and aid the X-Men in taking him down. In the movie, after Sebastian Shaw is defeated, Angel is seen for like half a second in Magneto's Brotherhood. Those 2 seconds of being with Magneto are just enough to keep her from being a couple spots lower on this list, even though pretty much nothing about her is similar, and since no one gave a crap about her in that movie, she's killed off screen in the next one. Now down to 21 with
Oh, damn.
Psylocke. So, we already went over Psylocke way lower on this list with the version seen in X-Men 3. But since fans were so annoyed at seeing such an insanely popular and beloved character being butchered like that, Fox decided to just ignore that version and retcon in a new one who would look a lot more like the comic version, while acting absolutely nothing like her. Because comic fans are stupid, you see, and only like characters because of their costume colors and shiny powers. I already went through the Herculean effort of summing up all of Psylocke's insanely convoluted continuity into a paragraph and a half explanation in the last video. So not wanting to just rewrite the same exact thing, I'm gonna cheat here and just reread that verbatim for this one. Forgive me, come on. If Fox can just do what they did before and act like it's something different, so can I, right? Psylocke was originally Betsy Braddock, the sister of Captain Britain, who had psychic abilities. Eventually, she met and used her abilities to aid the X-Men before she eventually was kidnapped by the crime lord Matsuo Torishaba, in the hopes he could use her psychic abilities to revive his comatose love, the ninja assassin Quanon. But instead they wound up switching bodies, and Betsy in Quanon's body was brainwashed into becoming an assassin herself. However, she was freed of this brainwashing and returned to fighting alongside the X-Men, now gaining the abilities of a lifetime of training as a ninja assassin that her new body had as well. As I said in the last video, this is all a lot more complicated than that, but just go with me. Though the body exchange had diminished her psychic abilities, she learned how to focus them into a psychic knife that can be plunged into opponents, causing mental damage or disrupting their nervous system. In X-Men Apocalypse, Betsy Braddock is a mutant woman working as an assistant and bodyguard to the shady underground mutant informant Caliban. When Apocalypse reaches out to Caliban to find powerful mutants to recruit into his horsemen, when Psylocke pulls out a pink psionic blade to protect Caliban, Apocalypse decides, that's good, yeah, that's powerful enough to join my cause, and recruits her. She instantly betrays Caliban once Apocalypse gives her the increased power to, I'm not sure, make her psionic blade grow brighter or something. They don't really go into it. And starts working for Apocalypse, following him around as he recruits more mutants. Now, yes, like in X-Men 3, this is completely wrong and a horrible and random use for her. However, by pure technicality that I doubt the people writing this movie were even aware of, Psylocke was kinda a horseman for like half a second, though in the comics she was forcibly turned into a horseman, not by Apocalypse, but by Archangel. And very, very soon after, her mind was freed. Well, in the movie, Apocalypse makes her his horseman, even though Caliban is right friggin' there. And the movie version doesn't have to be forced to, because while the comic Psylocke is, you know, a hero, the movie version is a cold, self-serving mercenary who happily and willingly joins up for the promise of more power. And though Storm got a redemption arc and at least joins the team at the end, Psylocke just wanders off after the battle, never to be seen again. You happy, nerd? This is what you wanted out of her, right? Power-wise, she seems to have her psionic blade powers, but none of her other convoluted psychic powers. She wears a costume that's very close to her most iconic outfit, but somehow more slutty, which is the opposite direction from how female costumes are usually adapted nowadays. And for this franchise, looks kind of weird since everyone else is just wearing black bodysuits. She carries a katana and can fight, so assumedly she has similar training to the ninja side of the comic version, though we learn absolutely nothing about her backstory because, as you know, all comic characters are just a costume and a power. And while it's a difficult decision on whether you're going to adapt the character accurately in a movie and have a convoluted backstory involving a British woman body swapped into a Japanese woman's body, or if you're gonna simplify it by having her either just be a Japanese British woman with the same backstory, or rewriting her into a basically new Japanese woman stripped of all the British elements, the movie decided to just not do either aspect of the character whatsoever, making her just sound American and giving her no backstory whatsoever. Nailed it. Honestly, I think how she was portrayed in here was actually very telling of what Hollywood thinks of most comic nerds. After years of people being annoyed by Psylocke in Last Stand and wanting to see her, Hollywood strips the character of everything that makes her that character, besides her knife, and then tosses her into the most expensive thirst trap cosplay ever made, expecting fans to just thank them for it. But God, they just don't understand. We want the characters we love. And the $1 million thirst trap cosplays. Do that and I will personally give you so much money that it's not even... And alright, as you likely noticed, we said 5 characters, and that was only 3 on top of those 20. The next character is one who would actually have appeared much lower on the full top 20 worst heroes ranking video, but I cut her out due to barely being a character in the movie and not really having her heroic side explored anyways. At 14.5, we have Hope Summers. In comics, the Scarlet Witch's reality-altering abilities mixed with a nervous breakdown caused her to remove the powers of the vast majority of mutants on the planet on a day that would come to be known as M-Day. Since that day, not only were there a little under 200 mutants left powered, but no new ones were being born as well, making it look like mutant kind was now an endangered species. Hope was the first mutant born since M-Day and launched a war to track her down and protect or destroy the future of mutant kind through protecting or killing her. The town she was born in was destroyed by the anti-mutant organization known as the Purifiers, and while slaughtering all children in the village to try to get her, Hope is rescued by the time traveler Cable. While some believed that the child was destined to be a mutant messiah, others believed that she was an antichrist-like figure and would bring about doom for both mutants and humans. Cable protected her and eventually brings her to the future to keep her safe and raise her and train her to use badass gigantic guns like he does while fighting against and being pursued by all manner of threats who wished to kill the girl as she grew or use her power
that
for
big
their
burly
own
man
purposes.
with that tiny baby.
This is a very badass story, an awesome element of Cable lore, and she is an awesome
how do they
character as
screw
you
it
get to
up?
watch her grow towards her destiny. But as the movies didn't do that good of a job at Cable, they of course did an even worse job at Hope. In the movies, Hope is Cable's daughter in the future, and that's about it for similarities. We don't know if she's adopted or not, but it's implied that she's just his normal biological daughter with his wife.
Oh, yeah.
She and her mother are killed by one of Cable's enemies, Firefist, which leads to Cable traveling back in time to kill Firefist as a child. Later on, the future is changed, and Hope survives. Yay! She has absolutely none of the aspects that make her a character in the comics, and is just a MacGuffin for Cable to travel back in time for. And while the comic has red hair to initially imply and later reveal a connection to the then-dead Jean Grey and the Phoenix, in the movies she's blonde instead, likely to match her biological papa better. And since Cable lacks the over-the-top gigantic 90s guns of the comics, I highly doubt he's training her to use them either, since in the glimpses we see of her, she seems like a pretty much totally normal and well-adjusted young girl with a teddy bear. Normally, I'd put someone this small on these lists, but since it was a hero list and the younger version of Hope was still in training and hadn't really become a traditional hero yet, I kept her
Oh,
off.
that's
But
cute.
here's a dishonorable mention of a character who either way is nothing like her much cooler comic counterpart. And lastly, we have a hero who I did not put on the list at all, and will not put in, because I can find no evidence that he's actually the character that the entire internet claims he is, without ever actually citing where that was ever said. Anole. In the comics, Anole is a young mutant whose mutation gives him lizard-like features. Unlike many mutants, he was accepted by his parents and community until anti-mutant beliefs began to grow louder in society. His parents send him to the Xavier Institute for his safety and to learn about and train his abilities. He trains under many older mentors and goes through many trials that teach him about being a hero. After M-Day, Anole was one of a handful of students who kept their powers and eventually becomes a member of the young, new X-Men. He's a fan-favorite character due to his cool design and likable personality. And here's where I'd normally play this clip from X-Men 3 and say, in the movies, Anole is a random mutant you see crawling on a wall at a meeting discussing the Cure in X-Men 3, who you later see run in and get shot by the Cure as the Brotherhood storm the island.
Well, shit.
And then I'd complain the only reason they chose him was so they could have a weird-looking lizard guy get cured like they did with Glob. And I'd whine about, he's a whole character, but they only wanted his lizard powers, yada yada yada, and they couldn't even be bothered to make him look like the lizard powers, yada 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 yada. But I'm not doing that, because contrary to every online source talking about this movie, claiming this is Anole, I can find no evidence of this. I've searched everywhere, man, but none of the places claiming this ever cite where it was initially said. I can't find any interviews where anyone involved with this movie says this is Anole. He's barely a character and is not named in the movie even once, with the credits just listing him as Lizard Man. I figured people must be referring to something said, I don't know, on the audio commentary, so I spent 20 friggin' minutes trying to find my goddamn DVD copy of X-Men 3, popped it in, skipped through frickin' ads for Ice Age, Behind Enemy Lines 2, Thank You for Smoking, picked the To Take a Stand side, then finally listened to both audio commentary tracks during both scenes where this lizard guy's in it to see if anyone on the crew referred to him as Anole. The only thing the director said about him when he popped on screen is, that's a fully CGI character, as if I couldn't friggin' tell. And then later gushes about how they saw Fat in an X-Men encyclopedia and just had to put him in the movie. In the second track, they don't even talk about the character, and then mistakenly call Fat Glob Herman proudly for remembering the name of the character even though they got the wrong one. Then, in the battle scene, both tracks just talk about how they weren't sure if audiences would understand mutants were getting cured, so they put in weird-looking mutants like Lizard Man. which is what the lady in the audio commentary called him. So, I don't know. I didn't listen to the entire commentary. Maybe there's one random spot where someone says that lizard dude was anal. Maybe there's some obscure interview out there I can't find online amidst all the search results of spam wikis and garbage pseudo-pop culture pseudo-journalism that pops up whenever you put in a keyword like X-Men. If there is, dear God, someone out there let me know. But this just seems like a case of some guy's brother once said, you know, that lizard guy's actually a character from comics. His name is Anil. Then that brother grew up to write a wiki synopsis of characters in this movie, and everyone just copied his entry into eternity, claiming this to be the truth, without ever citing a single source that this is the case. According to Wikipedia, Lloyd Adams portrays a green-skinned mutant who climbs the guard tower in
Sergeant
Alcatraz.
Tin Man.
Many fans believed this
Welcome to
was
the
Toad.
chat. I
However,
like your
the
little,
credits list him as
lizard
Lizard
emojis.
Man,
Very
and Brett
appropriate.
Ratner confirmed it was Anil. This is an incredibly specific statement. If this happens, I assumed one of you out there who are nerdy enough to be listening to this video must have seen it somewhere.
Yo, fam.
And it's repeated over and over everywhere with no source whatsoever. So even if it did happen, none of the people copying that first source ever bothered to check if it's true or not. You could say maybe this whole video is just me futilely trying to reach out to find the one guy nerdy enough to confirm if this ever even happened. But I have my doubts. After listening to the commentary, I doubt Brett Ratner knows who friggin' Wolverine is, much less friggin' Anil. Anyways, there's the end of the companion list of worst adapted Fox X-Men heroes. Sorry got a little crazy there at the end, but you know how it is. If you already watched the previous list, are these any better than the characters below them? If you haven't yet and want to keep going down into this adaptational abyss that is X-Men movies, give the original video a watch. If you thought these were bad, bub, you ain't seen nothing yet. I'll have the villain companion list up much quicker than usual, and soon after we'll see what a best adapted Fox X-Men heroes and villains list even looks like. Ugh. Until then, always remember, cite your goddamn wikis.
Hey, welcome back to the stash. Does anyone remember when Peter Parker actually looked like Peter Parker? Remember when he had distinct features that could make you instantly recognize him? Well, Marvel clearly doesn't. Over the years, Spider-Man's design has seemingly regressed more and more with each passing decade. We're now at the point where he's genuinely just so generic looking in literally everything. From the comics themselves, the movies, to the video games, to the TV shows, Peter Parker is the most bland character in all of it. He looks more generic than all of the side characters combined. Sure.
Alright, one sec, I'll be right back.
tablet's more important.
Oh, you take that back, young lady.
Sorry.
No, it is not.
I'm just joking. It was just a prank.
Don't you be saying stuff like that.
Please. It wasn't a tablet. It was just a prank.
Uh-huh.
It's just a prig.
Which reminds me.
Now I can hug her.
Alright.
Wait, I'm gonna see it's not broken. It's not. Okay, good.
Alright, hold on, kid. Okay, sorry about that.
Sure, he's meant to blend in with the crowd, but that's for the civilians of the Marvel world. To us, the readers, he's still meant to stand out. Hell, Marvel can't even do right by the 90s show. I got no clue what happened, but how on earth am I supposed to believe that this guy
Oh
is the
my
same
God,
person
that-
as him? Honestly,
I
in
actually
this
saw that on
instance,
my
it just
own
comes off as
Discord.
really disrespectful towards the legacy of that show. Not to mention
I actually saw that image on Discord. I was like, oh my god. Look how they massacred my boy.
how it barely feels like a continuation. I don't understand what's so hard about capturing this look, but it's kind of impressive just how much they screwed up with it. Anyway, this has been one of my biggest nitpicks about modern Spider-Man for ages now. He simply has been flanderized to the point where not a single aspect of his character is recognizable anymore to people who've read the comics for a long time. Some might get confused by this and see it as a form of character progression, but in reality, it's the very opposite. It's regression. Marvel's locking him within this bubble that he just can't seem to escape from. He has to look like a teenager. He has to look like a boring version of Tom Holland or a bland random placeholder. I find annoyance in this because Marvel used to care. They used to have a set design for all the
They used
characters
to,
that artists had to follow, but now it kind of feels like a lost art within the medium. It always bothers me, especially when this element of care goes missing within the same story, and it happens so often in the
What was that
last
running
volume of
joke
The
about how
Amazing
they're
Spider-Man.
always ruining
In
his
that
life?
comic, he
Apparently,
and everyone
ruining
else
his
would
life
constantly
isn't
change
enough. Now they
appearances.
gotta
I
make
mean,
him
look,
look fugly.
this is in the space of 2 issues.
Crap. Mega crap.
I know some of you might not care or see it as big as a problem as I do, but with the new continuation of the 90s
No, I
Spidey
do,
show
I do.
released and seeing how little effort they put into Peter's design,
Oh my
I just
God.
felt like I wanted
Mary
to make a
Jane
video
doesn't
and
look
talk
much
about the
better.
regression with that aspect of the comics. But hey, real quick, here at The Stash, we're swinging for 17,000 subscribers by the end of the month. That's a tall order, I know, but with great power comes great responsibility, and all you gotta do is click subscribe. So if you're into Spidey or just comic book deep dives, feel free to stick around. And also be sure to stay to the very end, because I'll be showing you guys some of my latest Amazing Spider-Man comic pickups as I near a full complete set of Volume 1. But with all that being said, let's jump right back into the video. Now when you go back to the early days, Peter Parker actually had a face. He wasn't just some blank template for generic Marvel guy or even a poorly mashed together attempt at capturing the current actor's face. He was simply Peter. Steve Ditko drew him as a lanky teenager who always looked like he was carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. His posture was hunched, his expressions awkward, and he constantly had this anxious look in his eyes. That's what made him real. He wasn't glamorous, he wasn't heroic looking. He was a kid from Queens. You could flip to a random page and feel that this was the same Peter Parker who was bullied in high school, who worried about Aunt May, who struggled to balance homework with crime fighting. Then John Romita Sr. took over, and his art softened
Okay,
Peter's
come here
image.
and
But
get it.
perhaps the best part of it all was how he genuinely looked like a natural
No,
step in
wait.
Peter's evolution. The jump between
watching.
artists was perfect. You can tell that he had just entered a new stage of his life, and thanks to Romita's pencils, it felt real. He gave him broader shoulders,
Who's that?
a more mature face, and the kind of look that felt more in line with a traditional comic book hero. But here's the important part that I touched on just a moment before. Romita didn't erase Peter's identity, nor did he make him generic looking. He made him appealing and charming, yes, but he still looked like Peter Parker. He had that classic hairstyle, those distinct facial features, and a warmth in his design that carried through every panel. And as the decades went on, other artists from Ross Andrew to Gil Kane to so many others followed in that tradition. They followed Romita's design. Bagley's Peter, though, always felt like a modernized version of Romita's design. He was mature, clean, and most importantly, instantly recognizable. Eric Larson's Peter, meanwhile, was very of the time. His style reflected the early 90s with sharper lines and more exaggerated features, but underneath that, Peter was still Peter. He was in line with Bagley's future look and Todd McFarlane's look before that. And Todd McFarlane, for all his iconic style, never lost sight of the fact that Peter Parker had to look like a specific person. You could flip through any Amazing Spider-Man comic in that era and know immediately that you were looking at Peter Parker and not just some generic Marvel placeholder. But then, you hit the year 2000, and you've got Mark Bagley returning for Ultimate Spider-Man. This time he reimagined Peter as a true modern teenager, and it worked beautifully. He was expressive, a little awkward, sometimes even goofy, but still distinct for that series. You could tell he was Peter Parker of the 1610. That's what's so frustrating about where we are now. For decades, even with different artists and styles, you could always tell it was him. You could flip through a page and go, that's Peter Parker. He wasn't perfect looking, but he was unique. He had an identity, and it's hard to feel like that isn't lost now. Somewhere along the way, Marvel lost that sense of care. By the late 2000s, Peter started to slowly morph into what I can only call the generic Marvel male template, or even just a victim to movie synergy. Either one works. It's the same jawline you see on Captain America, the same hairstyle you see on Johnny Storm, the same smooth, lifeless expressions you could paste onto Cyclops, Nova, or literally any young hero. It's this factory line look where everyone just sort of blends together. The worst part is that Peter suffers more than most from this. He's supposed to stand apart. A major part of his character is being built on being the outsider. If he looks like a stunt double for the MCU, or worse, a faceless NPC, you erase all of that. His supporting cast, though, is a little different. Where Peter has been done dirty in terms of art and writing, most of the time for the world around him, it's just the writing that's poorly put together. Their designs usually keep a sense of continuity. Hell, look at the new 94 comic as well. Peter in that has no resemblance whatsoever to his TV show counterpart, whereas at least MJ has the hair. And it seems like in all comics, they've managed to always have their trademark features, whereas Peter has been long forgotten about. Gwen will always wear her headband, Harry and Norman will always have the same hairstyle, and JJJ
I'm so sorry about that. Yeah, I muted it. I'm sorry about that crazy ass kid. All right, I'm gonna rewind it though. I'm pretty sure she talked over that, so I'm gonna rewind it. I'm so sorry about that. Apologize. I should have went ahead and paused it. What does it say? OMG. Seeing comic Peter again makes me upset that they cut Tom's hair for the new Spider-Man. He had perfect hair. Oh, they cut his hair? Oh, he did have cute hair. It looked nice on him. That's cool. Yeah, I know. I should... Oh, well, anyways. Let me rewind this bit.
With different artists and styles, you could always tell it was him. You could flip through a page and go, that's Peter Parker. He wasn't perfect looking, but he was unique. He had an identity, and it's hard to feel like that isn't lost now. Somewhere along the way, Marvel lost that sense of care. By the late 2000s, Peter started to slowly morph into what I can only call the generic Marvel male template, or even just a victim to movie synergy. Either one works. It's the same jawline you see on Captain America, the same hairstyle you see on Johnny Storm, the same smooth, lifeless expressions you could paste onto Cyclops, Nova, or literally any young hero. It's this factory line look where everyone just sort of blends together. The worst part is that Peter suffers more than most from this. He's supposed to stand apart. A major part of his character is being built on being the outsider. If he looks like a stunt double for the MCU, or worse, a faceless NPC, you erase all of that. His supporting cast, though, is a little different. Where Peter has been done dirty in terms of art and writing, most of the time for the world around him, it's just the writing that's poorly put together. Their designs usually keep a sense of continuity. Hell, look at the new 94 comic as well. Peter in that has no resemblance whatsoever to his TV show counterpart, whereas at least MJ has the hair. And it seems like in all comics, they've managed to always have their trademark features, whereas Peter has been long forgotten.
I'm sorry, if I'd have been the head runner, I'm sorry, I don't know what that person's called. You know, the one that makes like the boss basically, that makes the final decisions and all. He has to overlook your work and everything. If I was that guy and I saw that was the way they were drawing the characters, I would have just fired that artist on the spot, because that just looks god awful. I honestly would be like, I'm sorry, are you supposed to be a professional comic artist? I mean, please, there has to be some reason why it looks terrible. Besides, they just did a bad job. Like, was there some kind of rush put on it or something? Like, what?
Forgotten about. Gwen will always wear her headband, Harry and Norman will always have the same hairstyle, and JJJ will always keep the same appearance. Sure, each artist will bring their own unique style to them, but the core of the character is still there. It's just weird that where these characters are always recognizable, most of the time, Peter isn't. It just sucks that Peter has lost the most. He's the one who's been sanded down, redrawn, and remodeled so many times that half the time you have to stare at the page and wonder if this is really supposed to be him. That's how far Marvel has let his design slip.
Oh my god.
But it's not all doom and gloom. There are still artists who understand what makes Peter special and what a good design looks like. Patrick Gleason is a great example. His Peter looks expressive, human, and distinct, with some nods to the pillars of his design. Plus, his Spidey all-round looks really good. You can see the wear and tear in his face, but also the hope and humor. Marco Cicchetto is probably the best example though. Whether it's his Spider-Man or Peter Parker look, it's pretty damn good.
Ooh,
in the continuity he's working within right now, this Peter's got a beard, but even with that, he looks more in line with the classics more than most other artists of the 616. He even does the fangs in his hair. That's like one of my favorite parts of his design, yet they keep forgetting about it for some reason. His Spidey looks great too. I love the way he captures the iconic red and blue suit in Ultimate Spider-Man as well. I mean, we already knew that he could do it during his time on Daredevil when Spider-Man would appear, but Ultimate Spider-Man just took his work on the webhead to a whole new level. Gleb Melnikov is another artist I really like, although he's barely done any ASM comics, but with what we have seen, I'm a pretty big fan of his work. His stuff in the Black Cat series that just came out was really good too. These artists though prove that it's still possible, that Marvel can capture Peter's identity when they want to. It's just that too often they don't. And the contrast between when it's done right and when it's phoned in makes it even more frustrating. A big part of this problem comes down to Marvel's obsession with movie synergy. Be it especially Andrew Garfield or Tom Holland, the comics start bending Peter's design to match whoever's on the screen for the moment. Instead of keeping his own consistent identity, recently Peter's just become this chameleon who has to reflect the current Hollywood version, and the result is that he loses everything that made him distinct in the first place. It's just so annoying. Peter Parker isn't supposed to be a knockoff of the latest actor. He's supposed to be Peter Parker, the kid from Queens who you can recognize across the page, the guy who feels human in a world of gods and monsters. It's just so annoying that they keep stripping him down and keep him in the most boring state possible. It never sat right with me how the comics continuously bend over backwards for the movies, where it should be the other way around. Because without the comics, there never would have been that film in the first place. But so, yeah, Marvel, stop making Peter Parker ugly. Stop sending him down until he's just another faceless Marvel placeholder. Stop pretending that generic is the same thing as relatable. Peter Parker should look like Peter Parker, not a copy and paste face with brown hair, not a lazy attempt at capturing Tom Holland's likeness, just Peter. I really don't get what's so hard about that, because when you erase his look, in a sense you erase a part of his identity, and Spider-Man doesn't work without Peter Parker. This is the character who defined Marvel, the guy who always looked like he was carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders because he was. That's what made him special, and that's what made him timeless. And if Marvel keeps stripping that away, if they keep choosing movie synergy and sending down his features until he's unrecognizable, then what's left isn't Peter Parker, it's just a mask with nothing underneath. I only wish Marvel kept drawing Peter as Peter. I know to some it might not be a big deal, but to me, it's just a real annoyance. Because at the end of the day, that face and identity plays a big part in making Spider-Man his own unique being. Without Peter Parker, there is no Spider-Man, and Marvel would do well to remember that.
That's true.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Comics from the Stash. I believe this is the third time we've done this. I'm just trying to remember if this is going to go for a certain video or not, as I got 2 in the works currently. But yeah, I want to go over some of my own recent pickups for Amazing Spider-Man, and I'm only 10 away now from a complete set of Volume 1. It's getting very expensive now, but I'm almost there. But let's get into some of the recent pickups. Okay, so first off, this one took a while to get, even though it wasn't that expensive at all. We have The Amazing Spider-Man issue 350. The story of this one's actually pretty good. I remember Spidey had to get Sling for Dr. Doom, or I think they were all gonna die. Now, I love this cover a lot. It's by Mark Bagley. It is The Amazing Spider-Man issue 378. Beautiful cover. Part of the Maxim Khan storyline, but, you know, just incredible action. We got some more Venom now with The Amazing Spider-Man issue 346. Nice cover by Eric Larson here. Very nice copy too.
Yeah, I hope I don't get copyright claim.
Ink Ribbon. I've been playing Mortal Kombat since the first game, so it's been very fun to start making videos about this franchise, and today we're going to take a closer look at the cockiest character in the series.
Yeah.
So put on your sunglasses and pop your collars, because this is a big one. From unused fatalities to being the original star, Here are 50 facts about Johnny Cage. Johnny Cage was actually the first character created for the entire Mortal Kombat franchise. In fact, the first test build of the game was just 2 Johnny Cages fighting each other. His original name was actually Michael Grimm, but this was changed during development. In the first game, there is a fan favorite glitch where you can perform his fatality multiple times, spawning 2 heads.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
so beloved that the developers not only never fixed it, but allowed players to repeat this in Mortal Kombat 2, spawning 3 heads. Cage did not appear in Mortal Kombat 3 or Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. He was, however, added to Mortal Kombat Trilogy. This was also the first time he was depicted as fighting while still wearing his sunglasses. He also didn't appear in the Game Boy release of the first game, but that was due to a lack of memory on the cartridge.
Aw.
Johnny Cage lives in sunny Malibu, California, but it's never mentioned where he's originally from. For the first live-action movie, among the actors considered for Johnny Cage were Gary Daniels, Tom Cruise, and Johnny
No.
Depp, but ultimately it went to Lyndon Ashby.
Yay!
In the original cut of the film, Johnny Cage was supposed to defeat Scorpion with a shadow kick in the forest, instead of being sucked into a portal to continue the fight in what I think is Scorpion's lair. The novelization of the movie also says that the fight ends in the forest. In the Mortal Kombat Legacy web series, we learn that Johnny Cage was actually an actor in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Johnny, I'm gonna be honest with you, okay? I don't think TV is the right move for you right now.
Well, what is the right move for me right now, Lance? I haven't worked since Power Rangers went off the air.
The original developers were huge fans of Jean-Claude Van Damme and originally planned for the game to be based on him as the main character. But plans fell through and he was contractually obligated to be in the SNES game adaptation of his movie Universal Soldier. Sadly, that game never got released, but Johnny Cage was instead turned into an homage of Van Damme.
Yeah.
After missing the Mortal Kombat train, he decided to jump in with his portrayal of Guile in Street Fighter the movie, which is a game based on the movie, based on the game, and mimicked a visual style of Mortal Kombat. If you know your game history, you know how that went.
Win! Perfect!
There's a long-running rumor among fans on the internet that the original casting for Johnny Cage in the 1995 film was Brandon Lee, but he died before filming. The rumor has evolved into people saying that Lee was actually considered for Liu Kang instead, but there doesn't seem to be any concrete proof of either of these being true. In the first live-action film, Johnny hit on Sonya a lot.
Yes, we know.
Nice dress.
Which isn't unusual for his character, but this may have actually affected the game's lore, with Mortal Kombat 10 revealing that not only did he and Sonya get together, they also got
Yes,
married,
we know.
had a daughter,
Can we move
and
on?
divorced.
What's wrong, Mom?
His daughter, Cassie Cage, grew up and became a new fighter in Mortal Kombat 10, combining the confidence of her dad and the skills of her mom.
Yeah. What, like
Throughout
he
the
doesn't
series,
have
he has had
skills?
many outfits, but they all seem to generally fall into 2 categories. Either they are martial arts based with more athletic looks, or formal outfits, usually a tuxedo, or more recently a dress shirt and pants. I think my personal favorite outfit is his Deadly Alliance outfit. Let me know what yours is in the comments.
Ooh.
Speaking of Deadly Alliance, I never realized this,
Okay,
but
well,
Johnny
maybe the
Cage has a
outfit's
big
okay.
dragon tattoo on his back that never made an appearance again. One of his recurring alternate costumes was his ninja mime look,
I
based on a
really
movie
hate
franchise
that
he
version.
stars in. We only ever get
I was gonna say, yeah, the Deadly Alliance outfit, but I did not dig that weird blonde hair they gave him. That just did not work. Also, I really hate this version of the Ninja Mime outfit. I like his, I like the MK11 and MK, you know, and MK1 reused the MK11. MK11 Ninja Mime is superior. This one is just weird and ugly. Unfortunately, in the movie Cage match, they used this version, which annoyed me.
to see posters and references to it, but in the 2023 Mortal Kombat Legends Cage match opening, we actually get to see a bit of the movie being produced.
You agree?
As a
Oh,
bonus
good.
fact,
I'm not the only
Ninja
one.
Mime might be based on the scene from The Quest, also starring Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Ooh, The Quest! I love
We
that
also
movie.
learned that
That's a
Cage
good
was
movie.
intensely bullied in school, leading to his mother to sign him up for martial arts classes and leading him down the path of becoming a highly skilled fighter. It's most likely not canon, but in this movie he also has a co-star betray him, who turns out to be Serena. She almost kills Johnny in a ritualistic sacrifice to summon Shinnok, and while she isn't able to kill him, she is able to draw enough blood to open a portal for Shinnok to enter Earthrealm. You should just watch this movie if you're a Mortal Kombat fan.
Yeah, it's
awesome. And the
Yeah.
colors and art direction are amazing.
And get ready for a wedgie.
I do look good in a thong. When does it start shooting?
Hey, yo!
Going full meta.
Oh yeah, especially if you love that 80s vaporwave aesthetic. Yes, definitely.
Johnny Cage has starred in movies based on the Mortal Kombat tournament within the world of Mortal Kombat, as seen in his ending in the second game. You can also see a movie poster of it in Deadly Alliance.
Money to fund the production of his next movie, which is rumored to be the true story of his latest adventures in Outworld. Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance broke all records in its first weekend in theaters and made Johnny Cage extremely wealthy. The movie told the true story of how Johnny Cage single-handedly saved the world from the threat of Quan Chi and Shang Tsung's
Really? Is that
Deadly
how it
Alliance.
happens?
An interaction with Aaron Black reveals that aside from the action movies, Johnny has also starred in a few westerns.
Researching a new role?
I've played gunslingers before.
I'm the real deal.
In Mortal Kombat 11, during one of his victory poses, he holds up a figure of himself. On the right foot, you can see Cassie's name written on the bottom, which is a clear reference to Toy Story. In fighting game,
Well, yeah, and it's implying that Cassie had an action figure of her dad, which is just too sweet, too adorable.
I personally love when one of the fighters can be seen in the background on a stage, like Cyrax in the desert or Kano and Sonya held prisoner by Shao Kahn. They brought this back in the Tank Garage Bunker stage where you can see Johnny Cage in the background cheering as an NPC, but he won't appear if you or your opponent are playing as him.
Well, duh.
In Mortal Kombat 11, you can set Johnny Cage to be your announcer, and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Future ex-wife. Sex machine. Elsa. Cabal Sack. Scarlett Johansson.
Oh my god.
Busta Times.
In the Mortal Kombat reboot, Johnny debuted his now iconic tattoo with his own name across his chest. I couldn't really find any backstory about the tattoo, but I did find a lot of discussions online where fans couldn't decide if they loved it or if they hated it.
Oh, come on, it's
After
iconic
training
and
with
it's
several
on
masters,
brand.
he became proficient in several fighting styles, including Jeet Kune Do and Shinto Ryu, but his
Look,
main
if
one is karate. He has also wielded weapons, including a broadsword and nunchucks. One of his special abilities throughout the series is his shadow abilities.
I was gonna say, if Steve-O can have a giant portrait of himself on his back, you know, why can't Johnny have his name on his own chest?
Namely his Shadow Kick and Shadow Ball, where he glows with green energy. In Mortal Kombat 11, these superhuman powers were finally explained a little bit, with the lore being that he is actually a descendant of a Mediterranean war cult that served a god, and the powers bred in these warriors seem to have been passed down genetically.
Yeah.
In the current timeline, Johnny is directly responsible for Kenshi unlocking his telekinetic abilities. The sword in Johnny's home is called Sento, bought for $3 million at an auction. During the story, Kenshi uses the sword during a fight and causes a chain of events to set it all off. In Mortal Kombat 1, the access code to Cage's mansion is ABACABB, which was the blood code from the original Mortal Kombat. In his second fatality, there's a little Easter egg when he unlocks his car with the remote.
The toasty. Vroom, vroom. Yeah.
In a more recent update, the new cameo called Janet Cage was added, which is Johnny Cage in an alternate universe where he is female.
We are sexy. We are sexy bitches. This is re-goddamn ridiculous. We are
That was
sexy.
an Austin
We are
Powers
sexy bitches. Yeah. All right, this is goddamn ridiculous.
A lot of his ad-libs are references to different movies and media, so if you're a film buff, you might enjoy them.
Anything you can do, I can do better.
I can do anything better than you. Get away from her, you bitch.
Being the notorious ladies' man that he is, there seems to be a history of repeated behavior where Johnny is always in the middle of either a divorce or a breakup, as seen in multiple timelines.
I'd give anything to have him back.
Chris. Come on, Chris, where are you going?
In Mortal Kombat Trilogy, they introduced animalities, with Johnny Cage being a kangaroo.
Oh, he actually was a kangaroo before.
Johnny Cage wins.
Yeah, because you remember I was saying possibilities for his new animality, and I said a kangaroo could work. Oh, I didn't know he was actually a kangaroo before in past games.
Now with Mortal Kombat 1 bringing back animalities, he was revamped as a shark, with an homage to Jaws. One of Johnny Cage's signature moves was his nut punch, which is exactly what it sounds like. However, in the first few games, it didn't affect female characters, which led to any competitive players playing against him to pick a female fighter. And as a bonus, here's a video of them rehearsing the Goro nut punch from the original Mortal Kombat movie.
Boom, react. Both hands down there. Oh! Oh, yeah, good. Get those hands back, Tom. Spin around a little bit, side to side. Whoa! Okay, good.
For some reason, Johnny Cage was missing from the Game Boy Advance port of Deadly Alliance. When we meet Johnny Cage in Mortal Kombat 1, he is in the middle of filming.
I am so very glad that they started making it to where it affects female characters too, because as an AFAB myself, unfortunately an AFAB myself, I can confirm, yeah, that shit does hurt. You don't have to have balls for a crotch shot to hurt.
Filming his new film called The Temple of Katara Vala, which is a not-so-subtle homage to Indiana Jones.
Cut! Credit! I knew it! Whew. I felt that one. You felt it too, right?
Temple of Katara Vala, take 39, tail slide.
That's a wrap.
Also in story mode, at some point he dons this really cool sort of sneaking suit thing. I wanted this skin so bad when I was still playing, and I don't know if it ever became available. In Mortal Kombat 2, there's an extremely rare random chance that his shadow kick will be red instead of green.
Wait a minute, did we not ever get the sneaking suit as a costume? Like, why wouldn't we? We do, don't, somebody needs to, like, I don't know, we should get his little battle suit thing as a costume, right? You know, I'd never even thought about it before, but yeah. Did we ever? Because if we didn't, that's dumb, we should have. That should have been one of his basic unlockables.
One recurring story element in almost every Mortal Kombat is Johnny entering the tournament nonchalantly, usually assuming it's a Hollywood project, only to get a rude awakening and realize the fighting and opponents are very real.
Deal with whom you're dealing.
Enough! That's no special effect.
Indeed, Johnny Cage.
He also serves as the comic relief of the Mortal Kombat franchise, being absolutely crass and unapologetically confident, but he has the fighting skills and loyalty to back it all up.
Exactly.
That's it.
That's the only reason I like.
I'm so pretty. And I'm taking you down, I'm taking you down, I'm taking you out, I'm taking you out, and I'm taking you out for dinner.
Ugh.
In the crossover game, Mortal Kombat vs.
It was like, normally I don't like characters like that, but the only reason or I should say I only like those kind of characters if they're actually the real deal, you know? Like Rob Van Dam is my favorite wrestler, and he pretty much acts like Johnny too, so... or his wrestling persona mostly is like that, yeah.
versus DC, for some reason, Johnny Cage was absent. The main reason it's strange is that he's always been part of the Earthrealm team, alongside Raiden, Liu Kang, and Sonya.
Oh yeah,
but
why
not
wasn't
this
he
time.
in,
Having been made on a smaller
Mortal
budget
Kombat
with
versus
real
DC.
actors, they also wore real clothes. These usually had the logos painted out, but in the arcade port of Mortal Kombat 2,
He said it's strange, but I think it's too late. Oh yeah, because they've pretty much stopped working on the game now. Yeah, that's a shame that they've kind of wrapped it up.
they forgot to paint out the Otomix logo. And surprisingly, they are still selling fitness gear today, and yes, they have Johnny Cage's pants.
Cool.
Mortal Kombat also introduced friendships and gave Johnny Cage his iconic one where he gives his opponent an
To my
autographed
best
headshot of
fan.
himself, usually referring to them as his biggest fan. Johnny Cage had an unused fatality in the second game where it seems he would have punched a hole through his opponent's head and thrown it on the ground.
Whoa.
There were even sprites for the heads made.
Cool.
The most recent movie, Mortal Kombat 2, isn't out yet at the time of making this video, but according to the trailers, it seems that Johnny Cage will be the main character in it.
Yay.
Also, I'm glad this video got postponed because that movie got postponed until next year. I wonder why. And lastly, Johnny Cage's real name is Jonathan Carlton.
Bring it.
Johnny Cage wins. Flawless victory.
I've been really getting back into Mortal Kombat lately. I'm so excited for the Legacy Collection, and it was really fun to make this video. So if you learned something new, then be sure to nut punch that like button and check out my channel for more videos like this. If you want to see me do a facts video on another Mortal Kombat character, let me know which one you'd like to see down in the comments, and it might be a future video. Remember to drink water, and until next time, I'm Kai Morgan, and as always, thanks for watching Ink Ribbon.
Thank you, Kai Morgan.
I'm Johnny Cage, MKOG, Sonya Blade, every night on me. She knows what's up, she'll mess you up, she'll break your legs, I'll cheer her on, and after that, haha, you'll see, gonna do my Annie Malice.
Oh, I'm sorry, whoever made that song.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode.
I'm sorry to whoever made that song, but that song kind of sucked. No offense, sorry. No, it wasn't just for the Sonya bit, but just as a song overall, that didn't really do it for me.
Of turning your drawings into FNAF animatronics. Today's a special one. We've got not 3, but 4 awesome drawings lined up, waiting to be transformed into terrifying animatronics. But before we dive in, if you'd like to be featured in a future episode,
Don't y'all start tripping and shit telling me I was being mean. I'm not being mean, I was just giving my honest opinion. It's not like I'm saying they're shit and they should never make music again. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I didn't care for that song in particular. Anyway.
make sure to send your drawings to this address, along with something about yourself.
You know how
and as
some
always,
people can be.
remember, your drawing must be FNAF related to be considered. The first drawing comes from Hador. Hello, my name is Hador and I made a drawing of a character in paint. Short and sweet. Thank you for your submission, and let's jump right in. I've had this little guy on my list for a while now. I just love his simple design. Honestly, I kept him on the shelf for at least 2 episodes because part of me was like, this isn't FNAF related at all. The nerds will start a war in the comments if this guy shows up in one of my videos. But a while back, I stumbled across him again, and let's just say, I have no idea what kind of drugs I was on that day. You can't get more FNAF than this. An almost bare endoskeleton with a mask? That's basically the trend this season. The jaw was a bit tricky. I struggled to keep the original design and make it movable. I tried a few things, but nothing worked quite like I imagined. In the end, I stuck to the drawing and left him wordless. Then I added the teeth, the sticky note, and moved on to the torso. The torso itself is as simple as possible. The most interesting part here was adding the withering. Same goes for the endoskeleton. So let's just enjoy the process.
God, I wish I knew how to design stuff in Blender.
I usually tend to skip the part where I texture the models. One, because it's kind of boring, and two, because I have little to no knowledge about it. Most of the textures I use come from BlenderKit, and if I want something closer to Scott's style, I hunt down public packs on DeviantArt. I know a lot of you ask about my textures, so here you go. I'll leave a link to BlenderKit in the description, along with some of my favorite packs. And please always make sure to credit the creators if you plan to use their textures. And with that, here's the final look of RoboCop? I don't know, Hater didn't give me a name. Hello, my name is RoboRed. I'm 14 years old, I'm a small FNAF artist from Russia living on Game Jolts. Sometimes I make edits. I will be happy with any result. Oh, you'll be happy, RoboRed. Trust me. As usual, we started with the head and worked our way down through the rest of the body. The shape came out pretty well for a first try. The muzzle was a bit blocky at first, but luckily I fixed that pretty quickly. God bless the smooth tool. Ugh. He looks pretty grumpy from the side. A bit chubby from the front. Only possible in a Weirdo Speed video. I don't know about you, but I usually measure my skill progress by how I model mouths. After almost a year and a half, I'm finally able to get some good looking ones. So don't worry if your mouths, heads, or limbs look weird at first. Just keep at it and you'll see improvement before you know it.
Practice
the trick
makes perfect.
is consistency. Am I the only one who gets anxious working with this many faces? I can't be, right? Also, I'm not super confident about my withering technique. My heart tells me I might not be doing it quite right. But hey, what do I know? After all, I'm an animatronic. I don't have a heart. Huge shout out to RoboRed for the awesome endo design, and thank you so much for sending the right proportions. You're a real one. I almost feel guilty for wanting to steal it, but not quite enough to actually stop myself from doing it. It's been on my bucket list to make a Springtrap inspired animatronic for a while, so it feels great to finally have the chance. Hope you like it, RoboRed. Hello, I'm Squiddy Man, and I've been a FNAF fan since the beginning of the series. This character, Carl the Cat, is probably my oldest OC that I... RoboRed. Hello, I'm Squiddy Man, and I've been a FNAF fan since the beginning of the series. This character, Carl the Cat, is probably my oldest OC that I still use to this day. I originally made him around the time of FNAF 2 and 3. I'm also a big fan of your content since your old speed edits. Stay cool. Copy that. Thank you for your submission, Squiddy Man. Let me see what I can do. At first glance, the design looks like a mix between the classics and the rat from Candies. I went back and forth between making a fully classic or fully rat inspired, but in the end, I decided to stay true to the drawing's design. Now this part right here, I absolutely hate doing it. I never know how to make it look good without messing up the shape of the head. I tried adding the pieces separately, and while they turned out great on their own, I didn't like how they overlapped with the head.
And as he finished writing the sentence, our dumbass hero had a brilliant idea.
I think I figured out how to fix the overlap, but you'll have to wait until the end to see it. This model forces me to use texture paints because of all the little details, but what it doesn't know is I have no clue how to texture paint. The face was easy, I just slapped a bunch of spheres on it, but the ears and limbs, yeah, I'm still clueless. I really don't want to lose those details though. Do you remember Harry from the last episode? I stole his scarf. And his hands. Sorry, Harry. Most of the time, if not always, I avoid making detailed endoskeletons when you're not even going to see them. It just saves time. But this time, I got carried away. I still have that great design on my mind. And there you have it, Carl the cat in all his glory.
Nice.
Super glad I managed to fix the head. It looks so much better
Wakes
now.
up,
Hope
grabs
you
a
like it
cushion,
too,
put a
Squiddy
little
Man.
makeup.
Hi, I'm Joffrey,
Hey,
and
Merc.
I'm 5 years old. I
Thanks
like
for
making up strange characters
for
and
grabbing
drawing them
that
with all
brush
the
and
colors
putting
I
on
can
a little
find.
makeup.
Baby the Bommy. What? Baby the Bommy is an animatronic bunny I imagined. He's got an extra head and loves to sneak
you meant-
around
I
when
think you
people
meant to
aren't
say
looking.
bunny.
I love your videos and can't wait to see your magic work on my drawing. Thank you so much, Joffrey. I'll do my best. I won't lie, I'm not entirely sure what's going on here. You know those optical illusion tests psychologists use? Where they show you some weird image and ask, what do you see? Yeah, this feels like one of those. Tell me what you see here. A butterfly. Alright, what about this one? A tree? A tree. Really interesting. This one?
Very interesting.
Mon? So after a quick email, I know exactly what everything is supposed to be, so let's jump right in.
I cannot wait to see what he makes that next drawing. Is it supposed to have multiple limbs? Is it like an octagon? I've never seen you stream a living... Well... How do I explain it? I get... Because I'm on the crappy backup PC and limited in what I can do, I've been kinda... not as motivated to stream, even though I need to keep up consistency. So yeah, that's about when I can finally drag myself into streaming. I have not heard anything yet about my PC. Yeah, I'm sure he meant to put PM, not AM, yeah. Just a little whoopsie doodle. Of course, for me, y'all are like an hour ahead. I'm at 10:33. Or 10:33, not 11. Yes, my PC is, my main laptop is in the shop and it's been there for a few weeks. I'm waiting, hoping and waiting it'll be done soon. What was wrong with it? Well at first, it needed a new battery. And then even though I'd put the new battery in it, it was still having problems, turning on. So I took it into the shop, and apparently, even though the battery that I bought for it was the exact model, apparently it needs, and how many times am I going to say apparently? It needed an actual MSI brand battery because it wasn't giving the voltage. I think they said the voltage wasn't putting out enough voltage to keep it turning on, to keep it on or to get it to start on, whatever. So yeah, apparently I couldn't just use any old battery, any old brand of battery. It had to be an MSI brand, which is just dandy, right? Just so convenient. So they had to order a battery and wait for it. They had to order a battery and wait. They had to order a battery and just wait
Baby
for
the
it.
Bommy in the
And
flesh.
then
I have to give him a proper head and a torso to make it look like an actual animatronic, but I think he's still true to the drawing. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next
With it
one.
plugged in.
Bye!
Still wouldn't turn on the charger plugged in. I used it. Yeah. I mean, I tried everything before finally taking it to the shop. So yeah, trust me, I tried all of that.
You've likely heard all about video games with bad voice acting. Practically every article
You naughty,
and
naughty
YouTube
boy.
video that covers it will always mention the first Resident Evil, House of the Dead 2,
Don't give
The
up
Elder
hope.
Scrolls 4 Oblivion, though with that one they only ever seem to cover the infamous Let's Me Do That One Again outtake Bethesda forgot to edit
Someday,
out,
somehow.
and so on. You know, the usual cookie cutter topics.
Promises,
The thing is, there are so many more games out there that have awful voice acting in them, and yet not enough people seem to talk about them. So, this episode, we cover these pathetic performances,
Playing that,
these dreadful
song.
dialogues, and these vacuous
That's like
voiceovers.
the tune
As
of
I
that.
say, but hello you. I'm Guru Larry, and I welcome
Hi,
you
Guru Larry.
to Fact Hunt. Video games with
Was that Metal
awful
Slug? It might
voice
have been.
acting that you haven't heard of before.
Yeah, that's that Hey Ya song. It's like the tune of that song. Probably like a copyright-free version. Siphon Filter.
Not all games are bad voice acting, are bad titles in their own right. Case in point, Siphon Filter 2 for the PlayStation. Developed by Eidetic, now known today as Bend Studios, and released in the new millennium, the game delivered a fun blend of action and stealth-centric missions, a cracking split-screen multiplayer mode, and a pretty fun plot with conspiracy and betrayal. At the time, most critics showered the game with praise, though many of them didn't really enjoy the voice acting. Siphon Filter's protagonist, Gabe Logan, often sounded quite jarring and
Siphon
overly
Filter was pretty
enthusiastic, despite the
played
situations
it.
he often finds himself in.
Chance, I've been looking all over for you. You got the transponder locator? Clear! Kick ass! Stand your ground. I'm gonna scout ahead.
All of them, they were just doing their job. Do they deserve to die? I'm just doing what I was trained to do.
Yeah? So am I. Enough of this. Get that out of my face.
Ever heard of a protagonist that sounds enthusiastic at the mere thought of speaking aloud? Well, now you have.
That's not the worst
And
I've
if you
ever
thought
heard, but it
that
is a
was
bit
bad,
meh.
here are some more cringe-inducing moments for you to laugh at.
The SVR is not under my control any more than Romer's terrorist war.
Success is
He
everything.
almost sounds
Is
like
it
Ari
not,
Wilkris.
Mr. Cochran?
A little bit.
Leon, you escaped. Thank God.
That is impossible. Miss Aramoth has taken care of Gregoroth.
There are also quite a number of unused clips of dialogue from the game as well. And once you hear these cut lines, you'll agree that perhaps leaving them off the game was for the best.
No. Teresa, I just lost my ride.
Hey, you! What are you doing over there? Stop!
Damn it!
Oh Lord, what was that?
Not all of the performances in
I think that
Siphon
one
Filter
was,
2
outtake.
are bad, mind you. Still, whether it's Gabe Logan reacting to a failed mission like it's a minor inconvenience, or big bad villains sounding too hammy to be taken seriously. There are still plenty of laughs to be had in this otherwise serious shooter.
Yeah, there it is.
Yes. We all know how influential the Resident Evil series has been to the survival horror genre in general. And yes, we already know that the first game is riddled with unintentionally hilarious cutscenes and terrible dialogue. I mean, who hasn't heard the infamous Jill sandwich scene anyway?
Oh, Barry!
That was too close. You were almost a Jill sandwich.
But here's a shocker. Did you know that there are other games in this series that have bad voice acting too? I know, right? Shocker! In all seriousness, we're going to be focusing on the 2004 spin-off Resident Evil Outbreak and its 2005 sequel, Resident Evil Outbreak File 2, both of which have a cult following. Both games are made up of standalone missions that are loosely connected together by the zombie outbreak in Raccoon City, thereby running in parallel with the events of Resident Evil 2 and 3. What made them unique was they offered an online co-op mode. Well, as long as you weren't in the PAL region anyway. But Resident Evil Outbreak, in particular, was the first in the series to do so. Once you pick one of 8 random survivors, each with their own special abilities and unique stats, you set off to scrounge weapons, rush to the exit, and pray you don't become a zombie yourself in the process. Admittedly, some of the dialogue in the first game sounded a bit irksome at times. Though there are some decent enough performances, you can expect some rather crap deliveries of lines. This is especially true in the cutscenes.
Now the whole city is burning. You were lucky.
Well, I'm surprised he didn't show the waiter going, like, what's up with that weird guy? I thought he was going to show that, because that was really bad.
Earned it.
We've been patrolling the city, trying to help those in need, but it's worse than a war zone.
My final contribution.
The sequel, Resident Evil Outbreak File 2, introduced new levels, upgraded mechanics, and more. It also carried over a feature from the first game, the ability to play as NPCs that you meet across both games. They function similarly to the main cast, e.g. a Kevin-type playable NPC would shout Kevin's voice lines, but would have different stats and even new items to start off with. They were even given unique voices for the sequel, but they're not all that great. The George-type NPC voice seems like he's muttering in his sleep.
As a doctor, I must always be at a certain level of preparedness for dealing with such circumstances.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Well, the Mark-type NPC voice sounds like a...
Yeah, that's what it was. What a weird customer. That was so bad.
combination of a croon and a burp.
I'll make it out of this alive. I suppose I don't have any excuses to put off that physical now.
Did they pull in random people from Capcom's cleanup team to record these lines or something? I mean, sure. These games are not quite on par with the first ever Resident Evil in terms of atrocious acting. But there's no denying that some of these performances from Resident Evil Outbreak and File 2 were utter pants. In fact, an actual zombie could probably act better than these numpties. Yeah, this one's a bit of a cheat, because it's not voice acting per se, but on-camera acting. Say hello to the first Build Engine game commercially released, William Shatner's Tech War.
What?
Developed by Capstone Software, released
never heard of
in
this.
1995. You know those other great games that were built in this same game engine, like Duke Nukem 3D, Blood, and Iron Fury?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this first-person shooter is nowhere near as good. based on the titular actor's ghost-written book series, which was turned into a forgettable TV show in the 90s, you play as an undercover cop tasked with taking out futuristic drug peddlers in numerous urban locations. Meanwhile, water henchmen try to stop you. Unlike every other FPS on the market back then, taking the time to kill these grunts is a bad thing. You'll see one of 4 possible FMV cutscenes on each level, depending on if you kill the Yeklors before they escape or not, and whether or not you kill any of the bad guys on the way. And boy, are they a fun watch.
Quick, I'm uptown, and I just saw Marty Dollar. Get down here and help me bring him in. What is it with you? Do you want to end up back in the icebox? So what if nobody got killed? If you're not bringing in the bad guys, you may as well be staking out the donut shop. Any rookie could have brought in Connor. You didn't hurt any civilians, but you didn't make any arrests either. I can get those same results just sitting in my office. Bring me Connor!
Shatner will either attempt to feign pride and joy, or scold the player like an underpaid substitute teacher who can't stop a naughty student, depending on how you handle missions.
You may have taken down DeMarco, but you also got a lot of innocent civilians hurt in the process. You know the ones you're supposed to protect? Marty Dollar is out of the way, but couldn't you have been more careful? The body count keeps rising, and it's harder and harder to justify it. We're not the killers. They are. Try to remember that. What do you think you're doing? Not only did you let him get away, but you needlessly got people killed. How do you expect me to keep you out of the freezer if you run around blasting everything in sight? Do it right, or it's back to the cryo for you, and I can guarantee a little additional time to cool your gun hand.
Of course, none of this actually affects the gameplay in any way, and there's no punishment for being a mass murderer either. But that doesn't stop old Bill here from yelling at you if you do something as simple as quit a level.
What can I say? You blew it. If the need weren't so great, I'd have you on the next flight back to the freezer. But at least you didn't get any civilians killed. Now get out there and do it right.
Maybe he just wants someone else to keep him company. It's no wonder he doesn't want you to stop playing. He won't have anyone else to speak to.
I knew you were right for the job. We've made a pretty good team.
Unsurprisingly, William Shatner's Tech War was not well received on release. And you'd be lucky to get Shatner to even acknowledge the existence of this game.
Oh, damn.
Capstone may not have promised the pinnacle of entertainment software, as they so proudly boasted as their company slogan at the time, but at least there's entertainment galore to be had watching a Star Trek actor badly act in cutscenes with rubbish dialogue.
I don't think it was that bad. I mean, it wasn't that good, but it wasn't that bad.
Back in the late 2000s, Danish developers IO Interactive had a marvel on their hands, and its name was Hitman Codename 47. The adventures of a bald-headed clone assassinating high-profile targets by stealing disguises and infiltrating dangerous locations bowled over a lot of critics and fans at the time. Its visuals were incredibly detailed, the soundtrack was befittingly moody, and it even introduced ragdoll physics to the gaming world. Alas, it has not aged very well. The lack of a save feature is frustrating, the gameplay is often relentlessly difficult,
Wait, it doesn't have
and
a
the voice
save
acting,
feature?
yeah, it's not nearly as good as what you'll hear in the later entries in the series. And of course, we can't skip over this infamous line.
I need to use the bathroom.
Yes, that was indeed 47's voice actor, David Bateson. Back
Whoa,
then,
he even
he was a
looks
young,
like him.
up-and-coming voice actor who was picking up voice acting gigs to pay the bills, not knowing he would be voicing a protagonist who would eventually become one of the most iconic video game characters in history.
Oh, how he even
For
looks
more
like
than
him.
20
Wow.
years, he's returned to reprise his role,
Oh, wow.
delivering performances that just keep getting better and better. So hearing such an iconic character spout awkward dialogue like this is pretty jarring.
Columbia. From what I heard, even the butterflies are corrupt. I have this guy watching my car out front. How about treating him to a good time on my account? This place seems quiet. Where do I go for some action?
You could try the second floor. I'm sure you will find what you need there, sir.
The NPCs have some truly cringy lines as well. The game is set in numerous locations around the globe, and that means a lot of borderline offensive impersonations of Chinese triads, Colombian cartel members, and the like.
Why, certainly, sir. Let me just get the key.
So there you are. Let me just take your weapons. Hola, Hancho. Say hello to my little friend.
Go clean some rooms. I gave you the master key, you lazy sod.
You've probably seen kids' nativity plays with more convincing performances. And to think, before Bateson donned the role, 47 was going to have a much different voice. This original voice was present in the demo version of the game, but was thankfully replaced for the full release.
You'll be running out of breath shortly. Here, kitty. Easy now.
Ugh.
This is one species the rainforest is better off without.
Thank goodness they didn't portray him as a wannabe badass who spouts awful one-liners. Eh? He's a bald-headed assassin,
Yeah, that
not
was
Duke
bad.
Nukem. Still, IO did learn to embrace the campiness of the first game with a silly Easter egg in Hitman 2060.
I need to use the bathroom.
It never gets old.
Ooh, it's a bidet. Fancy.
What? You've never heard of The Sniper 2? Then count yourself lucky, because it's shit!
Oh.
This obscure budget title was developed by Best Media and released in Japan in 2002, before being released in Europe a year later. As the title suggests, you're a sniper, and that's probably the only understandable aspect about this game. Really. The plot is a confusing mess involving a mysterious hitchhiker, a mafia syndicate, and some conspiracy going on with the CIA. Its gameplay is mind-meltingly simple, and looks like a title you find on one of those old PlayStation demo discs. But, worst of all, is the voice acting. Good God, is it atrocious!
Oh, yeah?
Oh man, the Mafia are coming this way. You don't take him out quick, she's gonna get shot.
He's small fry, but he's betrayed even the organization, and is trying to spread as much tackle McCann as he can.
These are just a few examples of the god-awful voice lines that can be heard at the beginning of each stage. Your guess is as good as mine if this constitutes as acting, rather than just reading aloud into a microphone. And we can't skip out on the cutscenes, though. Those are a real treasure trove of stupidity.
Harry? What's up?
Huh? Oh, that guy. The one Stanley bumped into back there.
Harry!
Don't blame your own stupidity on me. What are you doing? Get out of the way! Stop! Right there!
All the characters are barely attempting to sound convincing here. But then again, what do you expect from a game that was funded by pennies found underneath sofa cushions? The Sniper 2 is also home to what may be the funniest death scene in gaming history.
Oh, are you? Are you
okay?
now?
Hey, boss. I don't think.
Don't talk. Save your strength.
I won't need my strength much longer.
What? I can't hear you over the music.
Yes, mate. Please don't talk. At all. Just hurry up and die so we don't have to listen to your attempt at drama anymore. Then again, the soundtrack for the game is so badly mixed that half the time you'll barely be able to hear what people are even saying with these pianos and horns blaring aloud.
Yeah, exactly.
But maybe that's just a blessing in disguise.
Maybe it's
Without
for
a
the
doubt, The Sniper 2 has to be some of the most unconvincing, eye-rolling, and downright hilarious voice acting ever heard in any video game, ever. If you're ever feeling down or blue, just remind yourself that you didn't voice act in this one. You're sure to feel significantly better. Hello, you. Thanks ever so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to be first to see future Fact Hunt episodes. Click on the bell if you already are to make sure you're notified, and be sure to check out my other episodes. And if you want to be super awesome, check out my Patreon. But thanks again for watching, and until next time, friends, I'm missing you already.
Ink Ribbon.
Ribbon again?
I've been playing Mortal Kombat.
Whoa, wait a minute. Wait, why the hell is that on here twice? Okay, I don't know why that one's on here again.
Who is the worst adaptation for every Spider-Man character? This is going to be just like the last video, but flipped. Instead of the best, we're going to talk about the worst. Just the abominations to the eyes in terms of adaptations.
Oh.
Not all of them will be horrible. Sometimes we're just going to have to choose the worst of, like, great options, because a lot of these characters have phenomenal adaptations only. I'm probably going to say some stuff you don't agree with in this video. I'm probably going to say a lot of stuff you don't agree with in this video. I'm hating on it, so if I'm going to be hating on something and you like it, you're going to be upset about it. Bring those upset feelings to the comment section down below. Let me know. Make your voice heard. Tell me what I did wrong, and let's start the video. But first, let me just say, you guys should subscribe. I make a lot of content just like this video and other videos like this, and I work my ass off for it. So you should subscribe and check out more of these videos. Thanks. Peace. Let's get to the topic. Spider-Man. The worst Spider-Man adaptation of all time is the Avengers video game. This adaptation is soulless. They did not care about Spider-Man at all when adding him to this game. It flat out sucks. It feels like the developers did not even try. The web swinging is horrific. It's like you're swinging underwater, which doesn't make sense, but that's how it feels. The voice acting is decent, but you can tell the directors were like, sound as timid and afraid as you possibly can at all times.
Oh.
Spider-Man's not the scared little baby. He's a hero. The skins are trash. This is it, everyone. The worst Spider-Man, and it's in the Avengers game. You don't have to look very hard. You don't have to look very far. Came out within the last 5 years. We all remember him.
I don't know,
He sucks.
I kinda like
He's
these
trash.
skins.
We're moving on. Miles. I don't want to harbor on this one for too long. That damn kid show is going to ruin an entire generation by getting them to call freaking Miles Spin. What kind of name is Spin? I'm not going to harp on this for too long, but seriously, Spin? Venom. Venom is a character who has had some decent adaptations. There's also some real ones in my opinion as well. Whether the adaptation has an Eddie Brock that just doesn't convince me he's Eddie Brock.
I have not seen the Venom movies, but I want to, even though people say they're meh. Web swing was the same time as the Fortnite version that had almost perfect swinging. Spider-Man 2's Venom. You mean Spider-Man 3?
The character Venom himself is missing his entire origin, or he's just a big monster. There's two adaptations that stand out as the worst among them all, though. Spider-Man Unlimited has Venom and Carnage as brothers, and I hated it. That's just not their dynamic at all. They're father and son, and they hate each other. They hate each other. They can't stand each other. And I needed more of that. They didn't get any of that, actually. Also, there's no bones in these symbiotes. They just turn to liquid like Hydro. I hate that, too. This one just got it all wrong. And I'm not going to let Insomniac 2 Venom slide. He's not getting a pass either. Nah, buddy, you're not making it out of this one. This ain't Eddie, and that's already a problem. It's also not Venom, and that's a huge problem. It's none of his motivations. The character's just wrong. It's quite literally like someone saw an image of Venom online, then made their own fanfic headcanon as to what the character should be. The character's not a screaming, hulking monster 24/7. He's a goofy, fun dude. Even when he's a villain, he's a goofy, fun dude. This is all wrong. MJ. It's got to be Kirsten Dunst. I actually am not like too big of a hater of Kirsten Dunst's performance. I think there's a lot to like about it, honestly. And
yeah, I agree. I never really cared for that version of Mary Jane. She didn't act like the Mary Jane I was used to from the animated series. At least Venom in the second one had Aura. Yeah, Insomniac version. I never heard of that. Never mind, I forgot Unlimited existed. Spider-Man, Spider-Man. Put your hand on my can, Spider-Man.
I think a lot of people hate it for the wrong reasons. You'll hear about how she's always screaming and she's a damsel in distress.
She was just
and
kinda
although I
dumb.
do think Mary Jane
No, she
should
just
not
didn't
be
act like
displayed
her.
or portrayed as a damsel in distress. Come on, she's super powerful. That's not her thing. I do think we have to factor in the fact that she is definitely a random civilian and she's being attacked by super powered freaks constantly. Like, yeah, again, Mary Jane should...
Yeah. No, I'm not talking... No, it's not because of the screaming damsel in distress. I mean... No, it's not that. It's because she didn't act like Mary Jane. She didn't have that sunny disposition, upbeat party girl, girl next door, whatever. She didn't have that personality. Maybe not so much party girl, but girl next door. She didn't have that about her. She was just kind of bland, boring, and kind of easy to get pissy. Yeah, she didn't act like Mary Jane. Here comes Peter Griffin on the closeout, but he's not Peter. It is Spider-Man. Spider-Man.
shouldn't be shown cowering in fear, but you put a random civilian in any of these situations and they're going to cower in fear. So it's not like that part's not believable. No. My biggest issue with MJ is all of the cheating. I hate cheating.
Yeah,
I'm
that
not
too.
about that stuff. I'm very against cheating. So for me to see MJ, my perfect love interest for Spider-Man, cheat in every single movie in this trilogy, it's just like, what the Gwen. I'm not going to do any Ghost Spider or Spider-Gwen comparisons because I didn't do that in the last one either. I think Gwen and Spider-Gwen are just totally different characters, so
Yeah.
there's no point even trying to put the two together. But Gwen really has had some really
But-
adaptations all around. In the comics, her personality is really just kind of bland. It's like a cardboard. It's like watching paint dry. She's super boring in the comics. So it's tough for me to choose between an adaptation that portrays her as a character that's a character or a character that's super boring. Because in the comics, she's super boring. But I want to see an actual character, right? Emma Stone is an actual character. But I would never say Emma Stone is the worst Gwen Stacy. Even if it's not like the comic. It gave life to the character and gave new meaning to the character for so many people. Far from the worst. Probably the best. Actually, it is the best. I said it was the best. Honestly, to me, Remy's Gwen Stacy is the worst. She exists solely just to be
Yeah.
someone who causes
She
drama
was
within
just
Peter
kind
and
of
MJ's
there.
relationship. Which, in my opinion, is a role that should be more
Smack
for
her
Black
big
Cat, but
action
even then, I don't
figures.
love that notion either. Gwen doesn't even cause the drama
Put my hand on
purposely.
that can.
It's just kind of a setup all around her, and the drama just happens,
Maybe
and
I
she
will.
feels like she's at fault. You kind of just feel bad for Gwen in this. She's being led astray the whole time.
Yeah.
She doesn't really get a chance to shine either. This just wasn't the performance for me. Aunt May, a character who really has no poor portrayals. I'm going to go with Ultimate Spider-Man Aunt May because I just don't like how she's like this. She's super involved with this superhero life. That's not for me. Aunt May is more involved with the Peter Parker life of stuff and helping him
Yeah.
out there. I like that more. Now we're splitting hairs though because Aunt May's are so good. Uncle Ben. This one actually isn't splitting hairs. This one is very easy. The 2017 Uncle Ben from the cartoon is horrible. It's so lame and cringy. They lean way too hard into this like science stuff and even make great power comes great responsibility a math equation. It's so corny. Harry
What?
Osborn. Harry Osborn in the Amazing Spider-Man film was not it. Dane
Yeah.
DeHaan is not a bad actor by any means, but they gave him no favors with this script and this costume design.
Yeah.
Holy moly, this is tragically bad and horrible.
Oh, yeah,
it's
that
plain
looked
awful.
awful.
I don't even want to look at it for another second. Get it off the screen.
Get that
Flash.
shit off the
MCU
screen.
Flash is bad. I don't think he sells the bully part at all. And then he's got like this sad, unloving family thing going on for him, but it's hard to care about because he's just a little twerp.
The hell did I just do on my phone by accident? Oh, I think I accidentally took a screenshot. Wait, that's supposed to be Flash Thompson? I mean, I know this is like a different, like, universe or whatever. It's like a, a different timeline universe, whatever. But, geez, that's supposed to be Flash Thompson in the Tom Holland movies? Weird.
Douchebag. If you gave the Amazing Spider-Man Flash this kind of home life, it would be way more impactful. It would make way more sense. Black Cat, Web of Shadows. Black Cat is portrayed as the antithesis to MJ, which is just not at all who she is. She's more of like a morally gray character. She's devious, sure, and she commits crimes here and there, but she's usually committing these crimes to help out other people or, steal from people who deserve being stolen from. And it's also usually just theft. She's not the Goblin Queen. She's not there trying to push Peter to end the world and become supervillain. In her eyes, for the most part, she's helping people out most of the time. Showing her cheering on evil Peter, it's just wrong. It's wrong. Green Goblin. Spider-Man Unlimited Green Goblin. The dude's a good guy here, and that just ain't right. I think it's a cool adaptation that he's like working to protect the city, you know, and help them out. But like the Green Goblin's doing that, I wanted to see him as Spider-Man's arch nemesis. You know, it's an adaptation, so that's what I'm looking for. Doc Ock. This one was probably the hardest. I don't think there was a harder one besides maybe Aunt May. These are the two toughest ones, which is funny because they're a couple in the comics for a little bit. And I don't even hate that either. But Marvel Disc Wars? I had to do some digging because most of Doc Ock's adaptations are godlike, like I just said. But what is this thing? Apparently villains get uploaded to a disc by Loki. The more I've seen from it, the less I want to see from it. So we're going to move on. Kingpin. Trial of the Incredible Hulk. First off, I don't even know what this is. I had to dig online to find this. Another character that does not have a lot of bad adaptations.
I remember that.
This one is
I
just,
saw it
what the heck am I looking at? This guy's got freaking hair. Who the f is this guy? I know that you're thinking like, you said Michael Clark Duncan is one of the best ones. He's not even white. That's black. He still is everything Kingpin is, though. He's intimidating. He's a boss. He's imposing. Even though he's black, it doesn't matter. He was looking like Kingpin, and he felt like Kingpin. This guy. Bruh, who is this guy? This guy doesn't look or feel anything like Kingpin. Who is this man's? Bruh, this is Gimli? Like the dwarf troll from Lord of the Rings?
Yeah!
Rhino.
Yeah, that was, John Rhys Davies. He is a good actor. He was Macbeth in Gargoyles, which is probably the role that I know him most for. But yeah, that's not Kingpin, I'm sorry.
Amazing Spider-Man Rhino is horrible. Paul Giamatti's accent is horrible. This whole inclusion in the movie is horrible.
Yeah.
It didn't have to be in the movie at all. What we got saddled up with is just bad. One of my all-time favorite Spider-Man characters, and he's just reduced to this? Are you serious? Can we show the accent just for a little bit more? God, it's terrible, man. That accent's just terrible. Carnage. Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. Carnage is probably my favorite Spider-Man / Venom villain. When I heard that Venom 2 would feature Carnage, I knew right away it was going to be
that was
awful. Carnage's biggest and best stories are Venom and Spider-Man teaming up to stop Carnage. Except the Venom universe has no Spider-Man, so that alone had me thinking this would be bad. But then they did so much weird stuff on their own to make it even worse. Outside of Carnage and Cletus not being a perfect match, which already ruins the character, like straight up, that's what they're all about. They're perfect symbiosis, whatever, but they're a perfect match. The movie also does this random notion where they make it like red symbiotes are stronger for some reason. I don't really know what they did. I don't know why they used it. It was just so weird and random. In a perfect world, we would have had Matthew Lillard playing Cletus Cassidy, and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man would have came back to help Venom take him down, but this is what we got. Sandman. Honestly, you'd think he'd have more appearances than he does. And when he's usually portrayed well, or just given no story and he's just a big sand monster. So, again, it was hard for me to pick the worst adaptation. So I went with the adaptation that just pissed me off. Sandman, I hated you in Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. Holy moly, does this fight suck. It feels incredibly reminiscent to the Lego Marvel Sandman fight, which also sucks. But at least it's in a Lego Marvel game, where the physics are supposed to be wonkier, it's harder to move around, you're doing specific stuff to beat a guy, otherwise you would just be mashing buttons on some dude who would just blow up instantly. I get it why it's like this in the Lego game. I do not get why it's like this in the Ultimate Alliance 3 game. It's the third Ultimate Alliance game, it came out after Lego Marvel, they had so much stuff they could have improved on. But then we get this, it's one of the first bosses too. I hated it. Kraven. Spectacular Spider-Man doing the whole half-breed thing just doesn't work for me. I actually think it's terrible. He's supposed to be a hunter. He's not supposed to be mixed with the hunted. The whole thing for me just doesn't work. Shocker. MCU Shocker. I almost didn't put him on this list because I forgot he even existed. Shocker in the MCU gets no costume, doesn't really use gauntlets, and he doesn't really use vibrations either. Maybe in a future installment we can see a more refined version of the character, you know, who's wearing a costume and uses the character's abilities. But as of now, this is by far easily the worst Shocker. Electro. The 90s animated series. 90s animated series is known for having peak character adaptations. Besides Electro. It's weird when a show has done such faithful adaptations so far, and then they just flip the script completely for one character. Sure, there are some changes from the comics, but they're usually streamlined stuff to trim the fat out, you know? This Electro is just totally different from the comics. He doesn't even have the same name. It's not Max Dillon, his name is Reinhold Schmidt. And he's the Red Skull's son and the adopted brother of the Chameleon. What? Already way off bases here. He even at one point is said to have become the second Red Skull and take up his father's mantle. In the comics, Electro is a shockingly bland villain. And I made that pun on purpose, yes. But I much prefer a bland bank-robbing loser to just a literal Nazi who becomes the son of Marvel's most known Nazi. What a wild change for the character.
Yeah, that is
Lizard.
weird.
Lizard, much like Sandman, doesn't have the most appearances, and when he appears, he's usually very easy to adapt. Kurt Connors wants to heal his arm, so he takes a lizard serum, which turns him into like a Jekyll Hyde situation and becomes a lizard a lot of the time.
Yeah.
It's not very hard. And Jekyll and Hyde is hundreds of years old, or at least 100 years old, so we all know the story. But it's hard to find a bad lizard adaptation out there. I found a horrible one, though. He really does not belong in this game at all. I don't really understand what he's doing here. Marvel Superheroes 3D Grandmaster. It's a game for the Wii. I've never played it. It looks terrible as well, so I'm glad I've never played it. But I don't know why this guy's even here. We're going to look at these villains real quick. You've got Doctor Doom, Juggernaut, Lizard Man, the Red Skull, and the Grand Master. Okay, so let's look at them again. Doctor Doom. He could literally end the world under the right circumstance. He's a monster. Juggernaut, same thing. Could end the world under the right circumstance. He's a monster. The Grand Master, same thing. Could end the world if he wanted. Monster. The Red Skull is a freaking Nazi who tried to take over the world before and has launched large-scale attacks on the world before. A monster. And then you have the Lizard, who's apparently Lizard Man in this. He's a small-scale street villain who, like, sometimes hurts people, but he doesn't mean to. Why is he here? I don't even understand.
Yeah,
the whole game's mechanic, too, it's like you're just dodging and swinging back. Like one of those rail shooter games from the 90s and early 2000s. But the Lizard doesn't even use guns. He's just, like, spitting acid at you. Couldn't they just use Green Goblin? He's more popular, and he throws stuff. His whole inclusion here just makes no sense. Was Green Goblin busy? I don't get it. Mysterio. Spider-Man 2. And no, not Insomniac Spider-Man 2. We're talking about the movie game. Mysterio's in it. And his design is pretty garbo, in my opinion. His head's got a major Eye of Saruman color going on. His voice actor is not it for me.
I'm determined that your plan is right.
It's very high-pitched, and I don't like that. No flame to the voice actor. Also, swinging to grab these things felt impossible.
Oh
Maybe it's because I was so young when I was playing this game, and I was younger and dumber than I am now, which is saying something because I'm still pretty young and pretty dumb. But this was so hard, like legitimately hard for me to do. Vulture. 2017 Spider-Man cartoon Vulture. Not only do I hate his design, but I just generally don't like the idea of every villain being a former or current teacher at the same or rival school. It's boring to me, and the design sucks, yet again, let me mention that. JJJ. This one is tough. Most of them are just J.K. Simmons being the greatest casted comic book character of all time. And the ones that don't have him are usually still phenomenal. I'm looking at you, 90s and Spectacular. You guys both still managed to pull it out without J.K. Simmons. Kudos. I would say Spider-Man Unlimited is the worst one, but that's just because of how little he's shown. I really don't know if there's a bad J. Jonah Jameson out there. I think that just about wraps it up. We did the worst ones. I really didn't mean to flame them as hard as I did. And if I flamed something you loved, I really want to apologize. It was not my intention to make you feel bad. If I did go against something you said and you want to make your voice heard, you should go down below and comment that and let me know. Give it to me straight. I will catch you guys in the next video. Dunk out. Peace.
Alright, guys. So that's going to do it for the chill stream, Saturday chill stream. Join me tomorrow for the Spooky Sunday. Let's see. Find someone to raid. Ugh. Is there anybody to rate? I already rated it Shuli yesterday. Oh well. There's nobody to really raid. That's alright. How many times did Unlimited show up? Yeah, I heard that wasn't the best Spider-Man show. Alright, guys. So yeah, I love y'all, and come back tomorrow for the spooky Sunday. Bye.